Well, probably. You never know who might turn up. No, I will not take it as license to...
Happy New Year, folks. Well, at least it's the New Year in Australia, where Matty and I are. Morning, Matty.
Morning, Dan. Happy New Year, Dan. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year to you too, Matty. How was last night for you?
Very subdued, thank you very much, Anastasia Palaszczuk. How was yours, Dan?
Well, I went and saw The Matrix Resurrections Gold Class. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. It's not what you would call highly intellectual entertainment, but still, there was some thinking involved, and my partner walked out of it with a baffled, confused look on her face, so I think job done. I enjoyed a dessert of some churros with some chocolate sauce and some ice cream, so as that part of the evening was concerned, it was excellent. The neighbours were having a lawn party when we got home, and they may or may not have set off some fireworks at the stroke of midnight, and they certainly weren't the only people in the suburb, so it's good to see the tradition of illegal fireworks continues unabated.
So how did your new puppy react to that?
Well, given that she's directionally deaf, confused.
Indeed.
She heard the pops and the bangs, but she didn't know where they were coming from. That's okay. I didn't know where most of them were coming from either. She didn't get terrified, and neither did the Labrador. And it's bizarre because there are some things in the house which set him off. We had to give away an air fryer because the chime on the air fryer when it was finished used to drive him insane. He would try and climb under the couch, and because there's only an inch gap under the couch, 36 kilos of black lab doesn't go under there. So then he'd climb on top of the couch and perch on it like, I don't know, a sphinx or something. And he'd whine and whimper, and if you let him out, he'll go and hide underneath the spar. And yet fireworks don't set him off. It's just strange.
I guess must have been something high-pitched.
Yeah, and we can't figure it out. Like, I had to turn the alarms on the UPSs off, because if the power went out on the house and the UPS chimed its alarm, he'd go bananas. So there must be a pitch or a tone or something like that which just drives him. The e-tags. We've got a couple of tollways. The e-tag for the tollway, if you go under one of those gantries and the e-tag goes off, he goes bananas in the car. He tries and climbs into the front seats. When we went to pick Willow up, which was a good 4-hour drive, I think, each way, made the mistake of going up the tollway on the way out, and eventually we just had to pull over and walk him up and down the side of the road for 10 minutes till he'd calmed down. And yet, fireworks don't set him off. So
interesting. Some specific form of old man dog tinnitus.
Possibly. He's done it his entire life though, so it isn't just an old dog thing. It's just a.
Well, I've had tinnitus most of my life, so.
that may or may not have been abusive music.
Well, also yes.
I think they call it industrial deaf. I have very, very great difficulty picking out conversation in a very noisy environment. Not sure what the exact correct term for that is, but yeah, if there's if there's something noisy going on one side of me and there's somebody talking to me on the other side, I can't hear them. It's a waste of time.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Now I know how to distract you when we game.
Yes.
I gotta take all the advantages I can get.
I don't know. If you're watching those.
I have been watching those live stream
the
games
playtest
and
sessions.
the VOD. They're very entertaining.
I wouldn't consider myself a power gamer. Wouldn't consider myself a terribly accomplished gamer either, for that matter. But, we've got some housekeeping to do before I get started on anything. First of all, plug the Etherstream Interceptor Kickstarter campaign that is running. It has 14 days to go. It is funded. We've reached the second stretch goal. We would dearly like to get to the third and the fourth. It's got 196 backers at the moment, so it would be what you would call relatively successful at this point, but we'd actually like to push it beyond that to completely successful. I mean, it'd be really nice to get the first faction add-on fighter box set. I think that'd be great. And if there's a mean streak in your body, then you want to do that because it adds probably 100 hours of work on my plate before the Kickstarter is fulfilled. So if Dan has annoyed you, get that Kickstarter to, I think it's 40,000, and you add a significant amount of work to my weeks. Secondly, some thank yous. So Martin and Paul at Railpatha, big thank you for the support during the year for supplying miniatures and paint. We've got some interesting products to work through in 2022, and I'm really looking forward to working with those guys to get those done. I'm looking forward to getting some more of the Demonworld armies in so that we can paint them and show the world just how awesome they are. Thanks to Todd for his hard work on Interceptor and being generally receptive to crappy ideas that might float, and being very gentle in putting them down when they truly are crappy ideas. Big thanks to Ross. He's been very supportive all year of the various different projects that have been going on, and I probably have consumed far more of his time than he actually had spare. Big thanks to you, Matty, for being at literally every single one of these live streams, plus other things. Having the company has been brilliant, and we probably wouldn't be here if you hadn't come along and maintained the momentum. So yeah.
You're welcome, Dad. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you for being here yourself and for letting us into your home, into your studio. I know you're a private-oriented man. It must be difficult for you at times.
It can be. There's no doubt about that. I do not generally put myself forward or out there, but so this has been an interesting experience. Not that I think we have the world's largest audience, but that's okay. It's not what we're after. Shout out for the Demonworld Facebook group, which is growing slowly but steadily. I think we're above 70 people now, and we haven't been pushing it, marketing it, or anything like that. It's just been the accretion of people over time. Really nice to see that there is a community out there for the game, despite the fact that we aren't pushing it. it's fair to say that we do want to get 4th edition released in 2022. I'm not entirely sure what form that is going to take yet, because there are a bunch of other things in the way. There's more Interceptor stuff to do, and as I alluded to earlier, there's more stuff to do with the Royal Path of Europe. So yeah. So if you're into 15mm gaming at all, come and join the Demonworld Facebook group. You'll get to see some of our work. I'm intending this year to push a little bit more of the game designer type articles into that group, to give the group an insight into what's going on as far as the game design and construction is concerned. We will also be playtesting it at some point, and I think the intention is to record those playtest sessions and put them up as videos for people to watch as well, so you can see the development of the game as it goes along. We've done a couple of proofing passes of the rules for sanity check at this point, but we actually haven't put them on the table. I'm still working on statistics for the units, so in my spare time, so to speak, which I say completely tongue-in-cheek because I don't actually have any. What else? I'm sure I had something else. Never mind.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh yeah, probably should say that. Thank you to my partner, long-suffering partner, who gets to mind the young puppy for 2 hours while I do this on a Saturday morning, and then another 2 hours while I do the playtest for Interceptor tomorrow. Oh yes, I should push that too. Ross, Todd and I are doing another Etherstream Interceptor playtest tomorrow, live stream. We're testing the missile rules tomorrow, so you can come and see things blow up spectacularly. That'll be the same time as this, 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time, or 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is that? That's 1 p.m. US Central, 3 p.m. No, 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. East Coast, United States on Saturday. I don't know what that translates to. I'm GMT plus 11, so what's 8 a.m. minus 11?
3.
3...
No, that doesn't sound right.
No, that's not right. It'd be 9 p.m. GMT on the Saturday night.
That sounds right.
So that's accessible for the European viewers. Should come along. I'm going to have to go and close another door and grab another drink. I'll be right back.
And while we're waiting, see that big one? I reckon I know what that is, and that's $100,000 stretch goal.
Alrighty. Maybe I should paint something. It's been a long introduction.
Well, you got to start the year on the best foot, you see.
I don't want to start the year on my feet at all.
Well, horizontal is preferable.
Alright, so sitting in the middle of the frame is the fighter that I did last week, which is the Trebuchet, which is the nice orange and purple paint scheme that we came up with. I didn't do a great deal after we'd finished because there wasn't a great deal to do, so it's had a bit of a dry brush to pick up the edges. But consider that one done.
I particularly like those smaller forward-facing gun ports and the shading that makes it look really deep. That's very nice.
They are actually quite deep. There was some consternation from the manufacturer about how deep they were, in fact. So, something about they may not come out of the mould, which caused a rethink for some of it. So the actual guns got reshaped because of that comment. There's been a toing and froing with the factory.
But of course, it's a collaboration. You've got the ideas, and they've got their specific manufacturing processes.
Yeah, and limitations. What's the point? Obviously, they've been doing some basing here. There's basing material all over the mat. What are we doing today? I think Ross wanted me to do an Etherstream fighter. Sadly, I'm seriously unorganised, as usual. So we're stuck doing these guys, which I'm looking forward to, but it probably wasn't the desired outcome. So,
hang on. What about that big fella that's sitting there, the SS target ship? He's in frame.
He is. I'm glad you pointed that out. So, if the stretch goal, if we get to 100k, then that guy may be on the table as a model available to put into the game for Interceptor. The reason it's that high is because we want to put out the other faction fighters first, and the tooling for a model that big is not cheap. So, but it is a possibility that we could have, what you call it, spaceship target, SS target. It's supposed to be a civilian sort of gas freighter, I guess.
I always thought it would make a cool colony ship, painting the gas bubbles up as, inhabitation.
Yeah, that would work. A hab ship. I feel a lot better about shooting at a gas freighter than I would about shooting at a colony ship.
I know you would.
Yeah. I would paint it, but it's not undercoated, and I'm not firing the airbrush up because compressor and noise and Livestream and whatever. But
well, you could do what I do.
Which is what? Well, paint them by undercoat by hand.
Undercoat by hand.
There you go.
No, paint your pikemen or whatever they are. That's fine.
They're noble longbowmen.
Longbow's a sort of a pike.
Sort of. You could certainly poke somebody in the eye with one.
Well, you can put metal spiky... Oh, yeah, they look like they got metal spiky bits on the ends. And if not, you can mod it on.
It's funny because they're recurved bows. They're sort of a strange hybrid sort of a shape. They're a longbow with a curved back tip on them, which is... I own a Western longbow. It's just a stick.
I
also own a recurve.
I wonder what the great Robert Hardy would have said about these noble longbowmen.
That they weren't very noble. That they had silly hats.
Maybe.
And the lament of the week was that my 3D printer died. One of them.
Can you print spares?
Not for this one, because it's one of the resin printers and it's the LCD screen. Going backwards and forwards with the support guys, the LCD screen's only functioning one half of it, the left half. So it's either the LCD screen or it's the display adapter board. We haven't figured it out yet. The printer's 6 months old, which means the LCD screen is no longer covered by warranty, but the adapter board is. The trouble is, I have to buy a new LCD screen to be able to test to see whether it is the LCD screen or it's the adapter board. So I might get a brand new LCD screen and find out that I still need to get an adapter board, in which case I have to go through the rigmarole of going through warranty for... Yeah, there's that drama to go. And unfortunately, I was printing production masters, which were due to go off next week to Europe. And that's not going to happen, but we're up against a production schedule timeline, so I may find myself hassling these good people who have been very responsive to date. I'm very happy with their support, but I may find myself hassling them next week going, I need an answer. And the reason for that is they don't have stock of the LCD screens. They reckon they're in transit.
I've heard that one before.
Yes. What does that mean precisely? That means they don't really know where they are, I think.
Well, it's a great fob-off excuse for the last 2 years.
Yes.
Did I ever tell you about my old washing machine?
Your old washing machine?
Not the one I currently use that does have a failing LCD or display adapter.
Right.
No, my old one.
You have not told me this story, so...
Okay, well, basically I bought a washing machine for $150, refurbished.
Right.
And that was fine. And it worked quite well for 2 years.
Yep.
2.5. And then it just went bang and stopped.
Right.
So I called, and obviously not under warranty, called out a repairman. He took 2 months to fix it because of parts availability. Was very good about it, but he kept on saying, oh yeah, it's still coming, it's still coming. And this is 2019.
Right.
It's still coming. No worries, just hold on. Keep doing your laundry by hand.
Oh.
Anyway. Finally he comes back around right away, repairs the machine, gives it a test spin, and then leaves. Because it works. And if it works, it's going to keep working.
Okay.
Well, anyway. One full load I get out of it.
Yeah.
The second load, it goes bang again.
Right.
I'm like, hang on.
Exactly the same thing?
Well, I phoned him up and said, it's just gone bang. Oh, hell, I'll be there soon. 3 days later, he rocks up. And he pulls the entire thing apart, and it was an entirely different part that had failed. Probably due to something he did while he was pulling it apart the first time.
Right.
They don't make these things in this country. It has to come from Germany. It was the, something to do with the thermostat.
Right.
Anyway, it'll work, just don't use hot water, and don't use any of the hot water cycles, so, okay. And so I used it for a few months, and then I got rid of the machine.
Right.
In the middle of this year, 2022, no. In the middle of 2021, remembering this is the middle of 2019.
Yeah. So a year later.
2 years later,
Yeah.
I get a call from the wife of this fella saying, "Oh, we've got you on our books as a customer. We were ordering some parts for your washing machine, I think." And I said, "Yeah, 2 years ago." And she says, "Do you still have the machine? Do you still need the work done by any chance?"
Right.
I said, "No, I got rid of that machine about 3 months after I last saw your husband." And she goes, "Oh, good. We never ordered it."
Great. service. It's not a good recommendation, is it?
Not really.
No.
So yeah, I hope your resin printer doesn't go that way.
Yeah, I don't think it will. If worst comes to worst and we're really stretched with this time frame, I'll just grab another one. Yeah, they're not cheap, but we're probably going to be doing enough work to justify running two at the same time. See how we go. At least I know they've got stock of the machine itself, so if I get another one identical, then I'll at least know what I'm doing, if you know what I mean. I won't have to go through the process of figuring it out, because I think it was a good 4 weeks before I'd figured this machine out and what the parameters were and how to get reliable prints out of it. Because, some people treat 3D printing as a hobby, and it's a good hobby, and they experiment and they tinker and they fiddle and whatever, and that's awesome. But from my perspective, I need, because it isn't the focus of what I'm doing, I need prints to be coming off them accurately and reliably, predictably, all those sorts of things. And it took a little while. I mean, this machine's the big brother of the little one that I got given a couple of years ago. And you would have thought that even with the family lineage, that I would have had a leg up on being able to understand how it... But no. It was quite different as far as the parameters. So anyhow, we'll see. I'll contact these people next week and see what the go is.
Well, don't forget Monday's a public holiday.
I will not. It'll be the last opportunity I have to get everything done that I haven't done yet, that I plan to do in this 11-day break.
Man, 11-day break sounds nice.
Yes, I'm very fortunate. My partner did not get that. She had to do the 3 days this week, which she was very unhappy about.
I can understand that. I had to do 5 days this week.
Really? So you didn't even get the public holidays?
I did not.
How does that work?
Well, for some reason the store is going to be open anyway. Just about always is on public holidays. It's not open today, thankfully. Otherwise I would have had to have been there.
And do they have to pay the penalty rates that are normally associated?
No.
Because it's a charity?
Well, yeah, basically.
Right.
They pay me the... well, they could pay me the penalty rates. I don't know, but we both know what my salary is like. Anyway, there is one other competent male in that store, and he phoned up on the Sunday, on Boxing Day, saying, I think I've got COVID. I might just go for a test. Can you cover for me this week?
Right.
And so Monday and Tuesdays, I usually do a half day. And so I was in there for the full day covering for him, because this is the busiest week of the year. People are offloading their Christmas crap. Yes, that's what it is. Crap.
Absolutely.
And they're getting rid of the old stuff. And I swear to God, I've had 50 people this week say to me, I'm moving. Here's my house. Here's all my stuff. I'm moving.
Right.
I don't believe that people move quite that frequently, because I swear I've seen some of these people move 2 or 3 times
Right.
in the last 4 months.
Yep. Oh boy.
And so I've been basically all alone, because most of the other people have been on holiday anyway.
Mm.
They're looking after grandkids or their own kids. And so there's not been a lot of help for me this week.
No.
And I've had 5 days. I worked Wednesday as well, which is my customary day off to do the podcast.
Yeah.
Because they needed me. And I'm like, ugh. So I'm very sore and tired.
Yes. And very deserving of an appropriate amount of time off.
Which I'm not going to get.
No. Sounds like it.
As far as I know, he doesn't actually have COVID. He's been waiting on his test results.
Mm.
Which, thanks very much, Anastasia Palaszczuk, are very hard to come by at this time of year.
Are they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got 7-hour lines down there for your test, don't you?
To actually get them?
Yeah.
Yes.
That must have been fun for you.
Oh,
Anyway.
I haven't... You know, I have not been tested.
Oh,
Ever.
good for you. Good for you. Anyway, here we're on a 4-day backlog of tests because people are wanting to go over the bloody border from New South Wales.
Mm-hmm.
And the Palaszczuk is saying, 72 hours. That's how good your tests are good for. And then you got to get a new one.
Right.
If you don't cross the border in that time. And because it's Christmas and they're all public servants, they're all on holiday, so no one's getting their tests for, 4 and 5 days.
Yeah.
So they have to get new tests.
Which just makes the problem worse.
Exactly. So yeah, thanks, Anna.
That's it. Yeah, that's crap. I did go to a work Christmas party with my team.
Oh, that's nice. Tell us about that.
There were only 7 or 8 of us there. There were a few other people that had already gone on leave and some other people that couldn't make it. And part of the team is significantly interstate, Clee. So flying him down wasn't an option. But we were sitting there and the project manager on the team was lamenting the fact that she needed to be picked up by one of the other people and brought to the lunch because she couldn't get out of her street. And the reason she couldn't get out of her street is because on the corner of her street, which is a cul-de-sac or dead end, call it what you like, is a testing station. And the queue to the testing station had completely blocked her street off and was going to have the street blocked off for 6 or 7 hours. So there's all kinds of stupid going on as far as that stuff is concerned.
Yes. It's really, really, really well planned.
That's not planned at all. It's...
I was speaking very sarcastically.
Knee-jerk. Oh, I think maybe I was providing a translation service for those that didn't quite catch the sarcasm.
Oh, okay, fine. Pro tip, everything I say is sarcastic unless I say it isn't.
Pro tip. Pro tip. So yeah. Given where we are in the world and everything that's happened in the 2 years, thinking about that, I've been remarkably healthy. I have not had a cold or the flu in that time.
Neither's anyone else, according to the World Health Organization, CDC, and all that. No, seriously,
yes.
look at the cold and flu stats. They are way, way down.
Yes, because anything that smells like COVID is labelled as COVID.
You got to be careful here.
Mm. What do you think? Somebody might be listening.
They're always listening.
Mm.
They Twitch does, do the AI listening to the conversations. YouTube certainly does.
Mm-hmm.
And they will probably back mute us for 10 minutes.
Really?
Well, yeah. Our mutual friend Max, for example, he streams his games occasionally.
Yeah.
That he game masters on Twitch, and he uses royalty-free incidental music in the background.
Yeah.
And he's been picked up by the music copyright theft, identifying things a couple of times as sound alikes, but they're totally wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound a damn thing like they say it is.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But there's no real way to dispute it because they don't care, and they do hundreds of thousands of these a day.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't argue with a computer.
This is why self-driving cars are a bad idea, people.
Also, yes. You can always punch out a belligerent driver.
Mm-hmm.
Called road rage has existed for years.
Existed as long as cars have. Probably a lot before
they.
they.
Horses.
Yeah, I was going to say, as soon as I said that, I'm like, I think there might have been chariot rage too. And before chariot rage, there was just horse rage.
Chariot rage. What was it? Circus Maximus?
Circus Imperium.
Circus Imperium. There we go.
If you want the Fasa product, Circus Imperium. You can still get copies.
How many squillions of dollars?
Well, it depends. If you get them from Noble Knight Games, then it's probably at least a kidney.
Whose kidney?
That doesn't matter. Just not mine. I reckon I'd get away with putting a plate on the front of him, so I'll just do the back of him. Assume you can see what I'm doing.
Yeah. That leader looks like he's got kind of a breastplate on the front.
Yeah, and it's ornamental. It's got some detailing.
Well, leather breastplates are a thing in role-playing games.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure they're clever things to wear on the battlefield, so, it makes sense to...
No.
Excuse me, do it fancy, and
Better
he is a leader, so...
Better than bare skin. Those Sky Warriors are just a little bit nuts.
Alright, you'll have to tell me which ones these are so I can have a look.
Look up any of the Celtic style civilizations that were fighting the Romans in the century BC or a couple of centuries AD. You're not allowed to call it AD anymore. What's the current modern term?
CE.
CE, yeah.
So, Celtic Sky Warrior into Google image search doesn't really help, but, that's Google for you.
Sky-clad warriors, maybe?
Oh, yeah, okay. I can imagine that.
The other thing to be looking at would be Celtic fanatics, potentially.
Yeah, adding in the word clad brings up a whole bunch of miniatures.
Right.
But those are games from a different company, so I'm just not going to link them. They're out there, people. Have a look.
Yeah.
Or don't. It depends on how terrified you may want to be with some of them.
Some of the
I
miniatures.
swear someone's painted in pubic hair on these fellows.
Uh-huh. Okay. Gotta satisfy the rivet counters.
I'm glad to see I'm not the only person who's no good at painting tartan.
Oh,
Oh my god, tartan.
Tartan's
What
a
were
mission.
they thinking?
Tartan is a mission.
No, seriously, what were the Celts and the Scots thinking when they came up with tartan?
That they like the colours, maybe? Not
Yeah, but
sure.
the pattern. Oh. It's so difficult.
I don't know that they were necessarily thinking about the poor wargaming bloke a couple of centuries to 1,000 years down the line.
Yeah, but what about their own weavers?
Oh, I think the weavers were probably doing a little bit of measuring, to be honest. Ha! My pattern is more complicated than yours, therefore I am better. Therefore people will give me more money. Or more favour, or just more.
Yeah, probably.
Spelled M-O-A-R.
If you will excuse me for a minute, I need to embark on something highly important very quickly.
I shall.
Back presently.
No worries.
I'll give you 3 guesses.
As to what you just had to do,
Mm-hmm.
Rescue the coffee.
Ooh. Damn. Yes. This is my first cup of coffee of the new year. And it has been brewing for 47 minutes.
Ooh. That will be flavoursome.
Quite. Quite a lot more than it's intended to be.
It's because you forgot?
No, because I've been sitting here having a chat to you instead of, keeping an eye on it.
Right.
It's not forgetting. It's been in the back of my mind. I've been able to smell it.
How is it that you don't wake the entire household with that smell?
Because not everyone is a coffee drinker.
Right.
I also do it with fresh baked bread in the morning.
Ooh.
It's no longer fresh. I baked it on Thursday morning, but I've got a bit of rye bread upstairs that I'm looking forward to having some of for breakfast.
Freshly baked bread.
Vegemite on rye is one of those world's greatest things.
Yes, I can certainly appreciate that.
seriously, Americans, if an Australian ever asks you to try Vegemite, ask for butter and rye bread.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, just, laugh at them and say, ha ha ha, you're wrong. You're doing it wrong. And for the love of Christ, don't stick your teaspoon in there and dig out a big mountain of it. It's not peanut butter.
It's not Nutella.
It's not Nutella either. Although with Nutella, it's more of a dessert spoon.
Wooden spoon. If the spoon fits in the jar, it's considered appropriate. I don't like Nutella very much.
No, I never liked it at all. I don't like. Okay, it's as a baking ingredient or as part of a cake frosting, but I don't go out of my way to eat it on bread.
No, absolutely not. Not a chance. The peanut butter, on the other hand, big spoonful straight out of the jar for sure.
Ew. I don't like it. I love peanuts. I don't like peanut butter. It's the texture.
It's
crunchy or smooth.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it?
It's weird. People tell me I'm weird for that. I'm like, no, you're weird.
Only for that?
Well,
it's
yes,
it's a gentle
and
tweaking.
others. I was having a wonderful discussion about what was normal yesterday with some of the people I work with.
Wait till you have the discussion about the difference between normal and typical.
Yeah. That's all good fun.
So which category did you end up landing in?
Oh, I'm definitely not normal. I feature piano wire far too frequently in my business-related conversations to be normal. It gets a good laugh, though. And it, breaks the tension, the stress, and
I imagine piano wire would.
I did promise. We've had a very bad week because everyone's on holidays. They're only working short weeks. And while I feel for those people who do have to work the short weeks, I also don't care because I had to do 5 days on my 4 days week. Anyway, we're supposed to be serviced by a truck for collections 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
We were given a part service at just 20 minutes before close on Monday. We were about a third emptied because the truck was already full.
Right.
Because they were working way past their own knockoff time. And they were good about it, that crew of truckie and handler. But we were skipped on Wednesday, and I was absolutely full by Tuesday, never mind Wednesday. And Wednesday wasn't a public holiday. So people figured that we were open, and they brought literally trailer loads of stuff, which I eventually just said, no, can't take it.
Yeah.
Sorry. We're full. Everyone's on holidays. You're using this time that you're on holidays to clear out your house. Everyone who works here is on holidays too.
Right.
Please think about these things. Or maybe just give us a phone call before you come. Some people don't like being told that.
No.
Anyway. We weren't serviced on Wednesday despite repeated phone calls to the truck dispatcher and repeated promises from the truck dispatcher and the truck dispatcher's offsider. Thursday morning, we were promised, absolutely, we will accelerate our pickup schedule so that you will be first. You'll have someone by 9:30.
Right. Nope.
crawl around 12:30, and I say to the manager on duty, I say, "Do you mind? I'm just going to leave, and I'm going to go over to the location of the truck dispatch, and I'm going to greet these guys as they return from their runs to go home. I'm going to greet them with piano wire." And that basically stopped the store for 5 minutes. Well, we got over our laughter and just the stress and the strain of having to deal with these muppets.
Yeah. It's like, if you can't do something, don't promise you can do it. It's simple.
I know. It was about 1:30. I got cleaned out, and I said to the boys, "You're very lucky. I'm tired of the crap service that we're getting from you. We're supposed to see you 3 times a week. Make sure you're here bloody early tomorrow, because we'll do this all over again." And this time they showed up at 10 o'clock.
Well, that's better than nothing.
Yeah, well, we could, give them the same amount of stuff too.
What do they do with it?
Mostly distribute it to stores that don't get donations.
Okay. So there are stores that are designated as donation points, and there are stores that are not.
Well, every store is a donation point.
Right.
It's just that some are better serviced by their community than others.
Right.
The particular store that I'm at is quite small, but it has a very large following. We have people come literally from an hour in any direction to see what we have, because the store's manager has... Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Our store's manager has a bit of a cult following, and she's works really, really hard to set up a really, really good second-hand fashion boutique.
Right.
So it's very heavily focused on clothes, and we've got a wall dedicated to other stuff, basically.
Right.
Most of everything that we got this week was other stuff.
Right.
So we box it up and we send it away to service the other stores, larger stores, ones in areas that people don't drop stuff off at as frequently, but lower socioeconomic areas don't need the fancy boutique $300 dresses so much.
Right.
They do need cups and saucers and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they basically get their stuff, and we get nothing off the truck aside from a bit of furniture every now and then, and usually when we don't want it.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how that works. We send stuff off, we get very little in return because we get absolutely hammered with donations all day, every day.
Right.
I swear to God, every 3 minutes there was someone new driving up to drop stuff off yesterday.
Wow.
And my skip is full. My skip was full on Wednesday and wasn't emptied.
Is there a commercial agreement with
Yeah, there's a commercial agreement with a large waste disposal company.
Yeah. But they'd be struggling too, right? They'd be...
Yeah, they are. They are working the public holidays because, waste disposal's an essential service.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also busy, and people still want to spend time with their kids or grandkids.
That's it.
Or just get the hell out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Fearing the impending collapse of civilization. Seriously, a lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, we're moving." Where are you going? Out the bush. Get away from the city.
Right.
I don't think they'll last out though. These people.
Possibly
judging
not.
by the state of their donations.
Who knows?
I'll know when I see him again in 3 months.
Yeah. Well, they're coming back in to buy everything back.
It does happen. Mind you, I'm guilty of buying the odd thing that I have gotten rid of.
Are you?
Yeah. The odd thing I've gotten rid of in the past, and I've bought a replacement now. A book, a movie, that sort of thing.
I'm so guilty that it's ridiculous.
Armies, paints.
Yeah, quite literally.
Model kits.
Quite literally, armies. Yeah, we were talking about that set of magazines that you had a couple of weeks ago. It's probably
That was nearly 4 months ago. But yes.
I had that entire set of those. I'm actually kind of a little bit disappointed. I'd tell you to send them down to me. Oh well.
We never did get any more of those.
No, you probably likely never will either. But yeah, model kits, like models that I did as a kid. And, by the time I was a late teenager and they were all destroyed because they'd been moved around or had things put on top of them, or I'd just cut them up for the heck of it or set fire to them because late teenager. I've been buying them again. For no other reason than they give me a comfortable feeling because they're familiar.
And that's all you really need out of a hobby, isn't it?
It is. Except it's starting to get really bad because I'm running out of space. But,
Build another shed.
Can't. I'm not allowed any more structures on the land.
You have to build it under a tree. So what you need to do first is find some big 100-year-old giant tree and rip it off and then stick it in the back so it covers all of your yard.
Yeah.
And then you build under it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are laws about how close you can get to trees of a certain type and a certain age.
There's also laws regarding how government is supposed to use your private data, but I see your mob have been in trouble for that recently.
Mm-hmm.
So, if it sauce for the goose, sauce for the gander.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way, though.
It should.
I know it should, but it doesn't.
What was I saying about piano wire before?
Mm-hmm.
I was having that conversation on Thursday with a lovely lady, a volunteer. She comes in once a week. American-born, emigrated here at age of 8. She has the most wonderful accent.
Yeah.
And I mean, I swear to God, I could listen to her talk all day.
Yeah.
And she is slightly rebellious.
Right.
Which is wonderful. And I fill her head with ideas. And we were discussing how to effect lasting change on Thursday.
Right.
Vote your sitting member last, people, please. If they're part of the Uniparty, Labour, Lib, the Greens, or the Nats.
Mm-hmm.
Vote them last.
Yeah, sadly with the two-party system, the protest only goes so far.
Well, that's why I said it's a uniparty.
Mm-hmm.
And it is. I mean, the Labour and Libs are effectively the same thing in this country.
They
have been for ages. And the Nats and the Greens are just feeder parties to both of them.
That's right.
So what do you got left? You got the various single-issue wacko parties. You got the odd independent.
And
then you got Pauline and Clive.
The operative word there is odd.
Yeah. Yeah, they have some very odd issues.
Yeah.
Like
and
decriminalizing not having to use a condom in sex work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And then you got Pauline and Clive. And their attempt to capitalize on the disaffected voter, and neither of them can seem to get more than 1% traction.
Thankfully.
Yes. Although I think it would be interesting just to see how it would go for 6 months, just to shake up the system a little. Oh wait, we saw that in America in 2016 to 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. It doesn't matter who you put first through umpteenth, as long as you vote your sitting member last. And if the country becomes ungovernable for 3 years, good. We need a break.
Mm-hmm. Somebody made an argument. I don't remember when I saw this. It was some time ago, as a much younger man. But somebody was suggesting that the only people that had actually got democracy correct were the Italians. I think this was in reference to the number of governments they went through in the 80s and 90s.
And recently.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping track, but... That's, yeah. We don't need to dig too far down this rabbit hole.
Thank you very much, 2021. Betty White has died.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, yesterday for us. But
so she didn't make 2022?
Nope.
That's so sad.
It is. She's wonderful. I quite liked her. The Golden Girls was a great show, and she was great in everything else she was in too, and very self-effacing. And yeah.
Wasn't there a campaign to try and get her to see 2022?
God, I don't know. She's 99 years old.
Yeah, actually, they were trying.
Pretty good innings.
I think they were trying to see if she could make the 100, but yeah.
Couple of weeks short, apparently.
Yeah. Just round up. It's all good.
January 17th it would have been, so...
Wow. That's...
Yeah, that's close.
It is.
Phil the Greek as well. Thanks, 2021. You utterly failed our expectations of a good year after 2020.
To be honest, my expectations for 2021 weren't that high. And I actually had a relatively good year.
Well, yeah, as you were saying, your health has been pretty good. I hope it continues to be so this year.
So do I. But more than that, like, I've had lots of opportunity in 2021. I've done lots of interesting things, working with interesting and good people. My paid primary earning job hasn't been as catastrophically bad as it has been previously. Like, I categorised 2019 as the worst year I've spent there. So I'm doing okay. But I have the absolute luxury of being able to work from home. Lots of people don't have that.
That is an advantage this couple of years.
Especially because I'm in biomedical and my company's done extremely well. Many other companies have not, or have actually gone under.
This is very true.
I count myself very lucky. Haven't made any jokes about greensleeves.
I can't think of any. You've painted so many of these guys in the green and gold, it's, it's not really a joke anymore, it's a distinct style. It's a cohesive look.
It is. I think that a particular force is up sort of around the 70 figure mark now, painted.
Yeah, well, you got a couple of pikemen, this is your second lot of bowmen, isn't it?
No, this is the first lot of bowmen.
You sure? I thought you had some archers going on 2 weeks ago.
No. They were cavalry. Light cavalry.
Well, I know you had the cavalry. I was getting to them next. I could have sworn you've done some archers before.
No, not for these guys. I've done elven ones and orc ones, but not human.
Let me scroll through this Demonworld Facebook group. Links on the screen. So I can...
prove me wrong. you know,
satisfy my own curiosity, at least. Don't forget the dragon.
I'm not forgetting the dragon, but it doesn't really count as anything other than one figure.
Oh, who's painting these awful veins?
Those are for sale by a French guy by the name of Nicholas.
I wasn't talking about those ones.
Oh no, you were being self-deprecating again.
Who, me?
Hard to believe.
You don't actually have that full army picture in there. Maybe it's in the Fasa Games Discord. Link is not on the screen.
Are you talking about that whip photo?
Yeah.
That went into the 15mm gaming group.
Well, I'm not in that one, so I saw it somewhere else.
Oh, I posted it in the Discord channel.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Right, I found it. So I see the tower with the cannon and the 4 balls. I see the cannon. I see the cavalry. I see... Okay, 2 units pikemen, 2 units sword dudes.
Yeah.
I could have sworn you'd done some archers before. Maybe I'm mixing it up with my own work.
Yeah, no, I've done plenty of archers for the orcs, plenty for the elves, but no humans yet.
Weird. I could have sworn that you'd done them about 2 weeks ago on stream. But no.
I wonder what colour I'm going to do their cummerbunds. What goes with green and gold?
Beer. Obnoxious chanting.
Yes. Rowdy behaviour.
Decisive test match victories.
How many of those have there been? I haven't been keeping track.
All of them.
Oh. How many have been played? Or is the series done?
I think it's all over but the shouting. I mean, we belted the Poms in the Boxing Day test.
Hmm.
I went to another work story. There's a stereo system that pipes music through the building.
Mm-hmm.
It runs off a USB stick.
Right.
The USB stick has been Christmas music since before the manager left on several weeks holiday. She took the regular music USB stick with her because it's not in the store.
Right.
Which means that the only music being played is through the backroom workroom radio, which is being removed to the shop floor and plays out there, which is annoying because when I went to turn on the cricket on Monday to keep me sane, my radio was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went to do it on Tuesday and it was bloody over. I think the Aussie team just wanted a bit of a break this week as well.
Yeah.
An innings and 80 something, I think it was.
Oh boy, oh boy. So not the strongest English test team they've fielded then.
Innings and 14, sorry.
Uh-huh.
And the next one starts next week on the Wednesday.
And that is number 4 or number 5?
Number 4.
4. So the series is over, but there's 2 to play.
So 9 wickets in the first test, 275 in the second.
And innings and 14 in the third. It's not getting better, is it?
Well, I think England's just sacked their coach, and they're looking to buy someone locally to help out. Oh, Wikipedia page. English cricket team in Australia in 2021-22 season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look at that Wikipedia page. Not to be confused with England's women's cricket team in Australia in 2021-22. I hope the English girls go better than the boys. But probably not, seeing as how, the strength of Australian cricket across all forms. That doesn't get underway until Australia Day.
What doesn't? The female comp?
Yeah, the female series. With the 2020s and the one-day overs. One day is in February.
Right.
Back to the men's. The England Lions, which is basically England A, also toured Australia during November and December of 2021 before the majority of the team flew home before the second match. Should have kept them around.
Was that a COVID thing? The reason they departed?
No, they just finished their tour.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the A team flew home before the test team
before the second test was played.
Okay. Yep.
England A got belted in their one game against Australia A.
Right.
They played 2 warm-up games against the England team. Which is probably why they didn't do very well. Both of those games were heavily affected by rain.
Hmm.
Yeah, no remonstrations on the Wikipedia page. Although there should be.
We didn't even watch Big Bash this year.
Yeah, why would you?
Well, it is entertaining.
I despise the 2020. I don't despise, one-dayers. I don't despise one-dayers. They're okay. But a one-dayer is a shorter form of the game as I want to watch.
Fair enough.
2020s are just... your ropes are so close.
It's a slogfest. It's just a slogfest.
It's not cricket. You may as well be playing baseball.
Mm-hmm. I like baseball too, but as a thing to be able to watch a game in an evening as opposed to devoting an entire game to it, it's not a bad thing, and simple enough and clear enough and well packaged enough that my non-cricket partner was actually amused by it. So full credit to the people who put it together and marketed it and improved it and whatever, because it worked. I think we probably watched 3 or 4 tournaments in a row from, I think we watched 3 till 7, but haven't been bothered since then. But I mean, I grew up on a steady diet of one-day cricket because I got interested in cricket around about the time that the World Series finished and became part of the regular game.
Well, I don't blame you. I grew up on one-dayers as well, but I just find that test matches are more suited to my temperament nowadays.
And that's reasonable.
About the last 20 years.
And that's reasonable because my mother still prefers tests. So it's a viable thing to be interested in.
The cricket. I suppose at 2020 it'd be better live if one actually went to the grounds and could afford the concession stand food and weak beer.
And getting hit on the head.
Well, that's part and parcel of it. It's not something I willingly choose to sit down and watch on TV.
No, fair enough. Horses for courses. But, I have good memories of watching Chris Lynn and Brendan McCullum go absolutely berserk. That's a few years gone now, though.
Do they even run it this year? I don't think I've seen a single jot of advertising for it.
I'm not sure whether they did or not. Might have been logistically impossible, given state border restrictions.
No. It's running. They're playing games today. They got 2 games today.
Oh, there you go.
And 2 tomorrow. Well, 1 tomorrow, sorry.
Is the WBBL running?
Wikipedia page for it. I assume it's running. Or, no, run.
It's finished, is it?
Finished.
Yeah.
October to November.
Yeah, right. It's been interesting watching the skill progression in that. It's very...
As opposed to, say, the WAFL or the WNRL.
Well, I'm not interested in those codes of sport, so I make no comment about them whatsoever.
Well, that's fair.
But I did play cricket as a youngster. Have a couple of season titles, actually. So out of the 4 years I played, we won 2 finals. So relatively successful. Very short, but yeah, the first season of WBBL was shaky, shall we say, from a skills perspective. There were, a very small percentage of the players playing were very, very good. But the supporting cast around them, it's fair to say, were not. But I think over the last few years, the general skill level of all the players playing has come up quite a bit.
It might help that of the 8 teams, 11 players per team, there are 34 foreigners.
Yep. You could argue that about the men's too. Some of the really big names in some of the early BBLs were international players.
Player of the tournament was an Indian star.
Mm-hmm.
Player of the finals is a South African.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
none of that bothers me. But even so, some of the internationals in some of the earlier stuff that I watched, even some of the internationals had some terrible games. But I think in general, making generalizations, in general, the skill level of the entire tournament has come up.
No, that's fair. They've had 7 of them. There is more opportunity to roll the arm over, so to speak.
Yeah, but I think more to the point, I think that aren't there now international women's 2020 tournaments as well? Yeah.
Yeah, there is, and they've got their own World Series as well, I think.
Yeah. So
which is fine.
That's why
there's more opportunity to get more game time. Unlike in the WAFL or WNRL, they're very short competitions that are run outside of the regular seasons and with limited players, limited player pools, and they don't get a chance to practice.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point where they are literally unsaleable products as games.
Because people aren't interested in watching because they're not compelling.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason they get anyone going to a WAFL game is because it's free entry to an opener for one of the men's games.
Yeah.
And because Victorians are AFL mad for some reason. Doesn't happen up here in Brisbane.
No. Really?
Really. Like, the Brisbane Lions women's team is quite good for, the standard of the WAFL. But they don't get players to their games. I used to see quite a few of them because I used to live near the Gabba, and
Right.
cafe I used to frequent was literally right across the road from the Gabba, so I'd
Right.
see them go out on training runs or come to and fro.
Yeah.
It was always a little heartbreaking like that.
Yeah.
They're not big people. They're all quite small, which is unusual for AFL, I thought.
Well, it is. But then everything's relative.
True, and I'm rather large. It's a matter of perspective.
It is. Well, I wish them all the very best. You know, anybody that pursues something like that.
Oh yeah, and they're doing it for virtually no pay. You know, they're basically amateur in the fiscal compensation.
Yeah.
And so they've got to work their regular jobs and find the time for 4 or 5 days of training a week. It's ridiculous level of dedication and devotion, and no one's knocking them for that, least of all me.
No.
It's just that the governorship of the game is just games, plural, NRL as well, is not that good. It doesn't give the ladies a chance to develop the playing skills and styles that they really need to make a compelling sport.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the women's cricket's going virtually all year now.
Yeah. And these guys do have the opportunity to go overseas and play in international tournaments.
Exactly.
So,
Like there'll be an Indian women's cricket comp as well.
Mm-hmm.
Judging from the number of top-level Indian women who come over here.
Mm-hmm.
So the top of the Australian crop can go over and play over there and just never see a winter. Just keep playing, follow the summer around the world like Richie Benaud did.
Yep. I'm really hoping they'd be putting together teams in the Caribbean as well.
Oh, that'd be nice. At least they still play netball there.
In the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Where do they not play netball anymore?
No, they do play netball in the Caribbean.
Mm.
So that's good. Just on the subject of women's sports. They didn't all give it up for basketball, is what I'm saying.
Ah, okay.
Unlike that certain other game. I've just had to write the date for the first time this year, and it's tripping me up.
Mm-hmm. 1/1/2022.
Hopefully it's 2022 and not 2022.
No, 2020 again would be unthinkable.
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
We will. It's going to take us 12 months, but you know, we'll get there.
I hope we get there.
So that's a plate. So what are you painting?
This week I have been working on mounted cleansing Knights of the Cleansing Dark.
Nice.
They are actually pretty cool. I've got 6 on the stands, and I've got another blister, I suppose you'd call it, of them in one of these other boxes of metal that I wouldn't mind doing soon after.
Are you okay with the horses?
I'll show you a photo later and you can tell me what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't gone to any details on them. They've just had barding and a contrast paint on the horsey bits.
Right. No rage painting.
No, I'm not rage painting ponies. The socks will be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the horse flesh, so to speak, looks okay.
Cool. Horses and mounts in general do some people's heads in. For some reason, people struggle to paint cavalry because they're worried about horses.
Well, there's not that much horse flesh on these ones. They're very heavily armoured.
Ah, righto. Makes it a lot easier. Paint everything
Even
silver.
still, though, contrast paints are great.
They are.
They're a lifesaver for things like this.
They are.
I opened a new one, snakebite leather.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very good brown horse colour, it looks like.
Yep. So I actually did, the last lot of horses I actually did with paint, not contrast paint.
Ooh. The brush strokes are extra texture for, like, the... What do you call horsehair? Is it like nap?
I don't know. It's horsehair.
They don't have fur.
No, it's hair.
No, there must be a term for it.
I reckon you're probably closer to Google than I am.
Hey Siri, what do you call horsehair? Just kidding, I would never have an Apple product in my house.
You can ask Bixby.
So, horsehair is the long hair that grows from the mane and tail.
Right. What's the rest called?
I'm still trying to find that out. Equinehelper.com. Do horses have fur? What you need to know. A horse's coat is known as hair. However, it is often referred to simply as their coat.
So it is hair, but it's called a coat.
Horses have 3 distinct coats: a light summer coat, a short winter coat, and a long winter coat. Maybe not in Australia. Because of this, horses have a shedding season. Your horse's shedding is naturally controlled by photoperiods. That means the presence or absence of daylight triggers a response in the horse brain signaling coat growth or shedding. Yeah, so it's hair.
So many daylight savings jokes. Won't somebody please think of the horses? I reckon down here that whole winter coat thing would be a thing.
Probably. Up here, not so much.
No.
Yeah, there's really only a 2-hour variation at this latitude between winter and summer solstice.
Imagine they shed based on relative humidity.
Ugh.
3 months of the year, you'd have bald horses.
Exactly.
Blue cummerbunds?
Why not? You've used blue on your pikeman.
Yeah, so if I do the blue cummerbund and then do the blue, what do you call that, quill in the feather? Is it a
The
quill?
shrub.
The shrub, yeah.
Yeah, it's a quill.
Hi, James. They'll even be stylish and matching.
Yeah. Then you do your second unit of archers with the green quill to match the first unit of pikemen.
Mm-hmm. And a green cummerbund.
Mm.
Or I could go for a red.
Well, red for the third units.
There are certainly more units of pike in the drawer, that's for sure. So I was putting in unit stats for the units that I painted yesterday. Excuse me. And I was putting in the rolling fortress with flamethrower.
Mm.
There is no flamethrower in the game.
You might want to do that.
At least when I was doing the initial data gathering probably 8 months ago, I obviously didn't data gather a flamethrower. So I'll have to go
So
back
it wasn't in 3rd edition either?
Well, I'll need to check. I'll actually have to go and... Well, see, this is the thing, okay? The human orc books were never released. So, but there are drafts of the orc books around because it was on the schedule, but there are no drafts of the human books around. So, from that perspective, no, there is no Rolling Fortress with Flamethrower in 3rd edition. So the reason the flamethrower might exist is because that army book never got created. So yeah, so I have to stop and I have to add a whole bunch of extra functionality to my little database to be able to modify all ranged weapons to be able to add a flamethrower. 2 steps forward, 1 step back and all of that.
Yes, but think of how bad it could have been if you got to actually release 4th edition and you didn't realise that there was no flamethrower in there. You just missed it. You only picked it up because you painted it.
Yep. I think, and without being critical of the people who were involved at the time, I think there might be a little bit more proofreading gets done this time around.
Yeah. So I bought a book for the old man yesterday.
Right.
As I might have mentioned to you once or twice, and probably not on stream. My old man was a federal public servant. He spent 20 years at the Department of Finance, and he spent the last 20 years of his career at the Department of Defense.
Right.
At two different positions at the Department of Defense. One supporting 1st Division headquarters, and one supporting 7th Brigade of the Royal Australian Army. A book came in. It was a history of 1st Division from 1914 to 2014.
Right.
Which covered the time period that my father worked at 1DF HQ. And so I bought him this book because I thought he might find it interesting. And he has immensely.
Well, that's a good thing.
He's read not cover to cover, but certainly the section of the book, which is about a third of it, that deals with his time period there. And he was complaining about all the typos and bad editing mistakes. You know, and I thought to myself, that's a fairly common thing as well. I've picked up some in that War of the Roses books I recommended to you.
Yep.
There's some very poor editing in that.
Yep.
In amongst the good factual information.
Yep.
And in many other books that I've read published in the last 5 to 7 years. And I'm thinking there must be a global shortage of editors out there, or there are a lot more people writing books.
Yeah, there are a lot more people writing books, and because you can now self-publish on the internet, editing seems to be optional. And I'm like, no, it isn't. It really isn't.
But these weren't edited self-published books.
No.
These were released through publishers. So, weird.
Yeah. It's a thing. I get very annoyed by that.
Just an observation that happened to come up, and it's weird how it's cropped up here as well.
Yeah.
Through editing, and it's just our circular conversations are now encompassing other circles. We're more like a Venn diagram conversation.
So long as they're not crop circles.
Well, we might be there soon. This could be the year.
Could be. Absolutely.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, I've got too many things to paint. Just too many things to do in general. I have enjoyed a little bit of time away from the painting desk and other things. Thoroughly enjoyed
things. Wow.
Thoroughly enjoyed putting together my Lego model. Thoroughly enjoyed putting together my U-Gears model for my daughter. Not having to glue things just means I only had to glue a few things. because sometimes to get a knot to stay closed, you just put dabber glue on it. But yeah, beautiful kits, great fun. I mean, you know, I rationed myself on the Lego.
Oh, it's only 3,700 pieces. It's just a small one.
Yeah, well, there's 6 boxes, so
Yeah.
I only did a box a day.
But you started on the 27th and you had it done by the 30th.
Yeah, how does that work? Maybe I started it on the 26th. No, I can't have,
Even
because I was
still.
doing the New Year's thing. I don't know. My intention was only to do a box a day. Maybe I just lost the plot. But anyhow, stemming from that, which is something I was going to bring up earlier, but, you know, circular conversations, I've had a lot of Lego dreams. And that is dreams that involve doing things or being in situations where what's going on in the dream needs to be assembled like a Lego. Like, you know, a room or a building or something like that. Whatever the setting of the dream is, you are plugging things together like they're Lego. It's bizarre. It's kind of like if I've played Tetris for too long, I dream of moving Tetris blocks in my sleep. So I don't need to do any more Lego for a little while because I don't want any more of those dreams.
God, I was dreaming about work all week. No escape.
Yeah, that's
All things in moderation.
damned unfortunate. And so we shouldn't have to work 5 days a week because we shouldn't have to dream about it.
Exactly.
Exactly. I might see if I can sneak the bows in. What do you reckon?
Sure.
15 minutes. Should be able to do the bows in 15 minutes.
Quick coat of the contrast paint, away you go.
Yeah, away we go. Like literally away we go. On to the rest of our New Year's days.
Yeah, what do you have planned for the year? Any resolutions?
Well, for the year.
Well, yeah, I know you've got things planned, and there's probably things you can't really talk about. You've alluded to more Interceptor. What else would you like to do this year that you can talk about? And Demonworld 4th, of course.
Those are it, really. Interceptor and the extensions of Interceptor. Demonworld and the extensions of Demonworld. That's what I'd like 2022 to be. You know, I make a trite comment about, oh, I want to be a better person, but sod that. I'm coming to terms with the fact that I actually am a reasonable person, and those mistakes that I make are mistakes. So if anybody out there disagrees, that's fine. Feel free to keep those opinions to yourself. Moving on. What about you?
God, I'm not a New Year's resolutions person, and I play things very, very loose. So I have no plans beyond this afternoon.
And what's happening this afternoon?
Oh, well, I hope to be enjoying the company that I could not enjoy last night, thanks Anastasia Palaszczuk.
Good. Well, I hope you are too.
Thanks. It's going well.
Yeah. No piano wire involved, right?
No piano wire involved.
Yet.
It's not going to come to that. When there's a break, it'll be amicable, I think.
Right.
Usually I do have amicable breaks. Usually.
Hmm.
The gossip going around the workplace actually got back to me yesterday,
Yeah,
which I
really?
thought was very interesting.
Right.
People had seen us together, and it's like, oh, she's really flirting on you. Are you totally oblivious to it? And I say, well, I lined up the biggest gossip of the lot of them, and I said her straight yesterday. I said, well, she and I, we're friends outside of the workplace. We know each other outside of the workplace.
Yeah.
We're friends and neighbours, and that's what you're seeing, because she doesn't have many friends here,
Yeah.
aside from me. So that's what you're seeing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, that's really disappointing. We were hoping that you'd get together, and I was like, well, you know, we're friends and neighbours, and etc., etc.
Right.
So she's going to go around and spread this counter gossip for me,
Right.
which, you know, is technically the truth, but it's the right sort of truth to make it a lie.
Yep.
So that's going to be good fun to see what comes of that in the coming year.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
Workplace machinations.
I have been manipulating one of the managers and another staff member to get together
Really?
for a little while, and they have gotten together.
There you go.
Because I've seen the way she looks at him, and I've seen the way he looks at her, and I was like, the mother of the young woman is also there.
All right.
So I've been manipulating her into finally noticing it, and she refused to believe me
Right.
for the first couple of weeks until she actually saw them together outside of the workplace,
Right.
and enjoying each other's company in a very close way.
Right.
That was when she started believing me, and now she's working with me to get them together and to keep them together.
Right.
But it's all good fun.
As long as no one gets hurt.
Well, people get hurt by the smallest of things. Those two will have fun, and they'll part amicably. They both have their own issues. I don't think there'll be any hard feelings. They're adults, and they're having fun. And if something more permanent comes of it, then that's good, because they both deserve to be happy.
Everybody deserves to be happy.
Well, that's not true.
Well, no, it is.
I disagree.
Some people need to adjust their behaviour in order to deserve to be happy, but if everybody was happy.
Anyway.
Well, I deserve to be happy, so there you go.
Well, that's also true.
And so do you.
Jury's out on that.
So with the self-deprecating stuff. And everybody who listens to this deserves to be happy, which is why they're listening to it.
God, I hope so. I hope you're not sticking around for the witty political commentary or jokes or deep insights, because while we've got those, I'm not sure that's what you really want to tune in for. You really want to see the painting.
The painting. I am not leaving the crossbelts white.
So, what sort of colour?
They're a leather strap, because they're a strap for the quiver. So
leather over leather.
Yes, but
need more brown.
A different leather colour, so they'll be distinct.
I've been using bone white for leather straps recently.
That'll work.
Looks okay to me.
That'll work. So
it's different to brown.
At least. I could do the quiver in the same, so the quiver and the belts in the bone white.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've got to touch the shields up because they've all had silver around the edges now, so I'll have to go and pick out some suitable decals. Yeah, blue colour.
God, I just remembered all those mounted knights have got shields, and I don't think I could face bare metal again as shield colour.
Right.
I have to figure something out.
I do them white so that the decals go over them. I could send you up some decals. I could.
I'm sure you could, but there's no need to do that at this stage.
I'm guessing your bases haven't turned up.
No, sadly not.
That's so disappointing.
Well, Australia Post needs a holiday too, even at this busiest time of the year.
My local delivery guy certainly does. He's been working 7 days a week and he's been doing 14-hour days. So while I have problems with his organisation as an organisation, I certainly don't have problems with the effort that him and certainly many of his colleagues are putting in.
Amen to that. Thank you, essential services workers.
Thank you indeed. All right, on that note, I'm going to go do something else for the rest of this first day of 2022.
I hope it is productive for you.
Likewise.
Or if not productive, then enjoyable.
Well, I hope both. So.
Excellent.
Good stuff. Thanks, Matty.
Thank you, Stan.
Talk to you soon. Thanks,
Have
folks.
a good one.
See you.